Frankie. Well, I have got a fresh 1000 pad here for you, but it looks like you already got your own.
Yeah, I always carry pads with me, some new, some old. We were talking a little bit, that's one of the things that people do a lot of the times is they keep an Abralon pad for too long, and so what started out as a 1000 ends up being a lot higher than that. So just to tell me, I put arbitrary numbers on these, but just to tell me which ones are old and which ones are new, this is an old 1000 and I just wrote 1410 instead of 1000. And then I've got an old 500 that I wrote 730 on.
730, nice. For this purpose, let's stick with a fresh 1000. But
yeah.
You've got and we've got two different absolutes here, two different layouts. Which one and why should we apply surface to?
Well, so the two that I have here, this one here is 4.5 inches from my PAP with a short pin buffer, and this one is 5.5 inches with a little bit longer pin buffer. So this one's going to have a tendency to stand up a little harder, and I would go with this one because in my mind this is the one I'm going to want to play a little straighter with, and this is the one that I'm going to want to bring that break point a little bit closer to me. This one I want to keep clean and more angular.
Okay, well why don't you grab this and show us, just like you're out there on tour, and how you would use it. Talk to me about, are you a lot of pressure, a certain direction? What do you do when you're doing this?
Yeah, well, the fact that this is a brand new 1000 pad means I'm not going to press too hard on it. You just kind of have to feel this out. Sometimes you want to press a little harder, sometimes not so hard. With a new one, I won't press too hard. The way I normally do it is go along the ball track all the way around the ball with the pad in like small circles. And then one important thing that sometimes people forget is you have to cover the whole ball. So once that's done, that's really the only part that touches the lane. Yeah. But the rules say you have to cover the whole ball. So I'll cover this side and then flip it over and cover this side.
Cover
as well.
the rest of it. Okay, yeah, let's check it out. All right, Frankie, well that was a good shot. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I like where I'm at right now. I did see some over-under with it. That ball being pretty clean and pretty quick, that is a tendency on a house pattern.
Yeah. So a better matchup for the house pattern might be the stronger absolute that we just applied that 1000 grit surface to, right?
It could be, yeah. I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens.
Let's see.
Pretty good.
That was pretty good. Now the one thing I noticed when you looked at the difference in the ball motion, it looked like it did read the middle part of the lane a lot sooner,
yeah.
A lot better. But the pin action, I mean, that thing sent the pin flying. Usually you don't see that with a real texture ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about how it matches up to the pattern. So it did what we wanted to. We hit it with some surface and brought the break point closer to us. That first shot I threw in the same spot hooked a lot sooner, and it went through the face, so I had to make an adjustment. I went about 3-1 left of where I was, and goes through the pins pretty well. Yeah,
it sure did, and still hooked plenty down lane.
Yeah, it did. And like I said, it's all about matching up the surface of the ball to the lane pattern, to the lane surface that you're bowling onto.
And there's a big gap between 1000 grit and Reacta Gloss. We can fit in 2000, 3000 Abralon.
Yeah.
We can even use some different types of compounds. You can go with a Reacta Scuff or something, for example, even in between, or step 3. I mean, we have a lot of range in between those two, and that just kind of shows you that versatility of this R2S deep cover stock.
Yeah, at first glance, it looks like it holds surface pretty well. I've thrown a couple of shots, and the surface is still on it. A lot of times you'll see some balls, you'll hit them with surface, and 2 or 3 shots later, they're already shiny again. So this one looks like it holds surface pretty well, and it doesn't sacrifice ball motion.
Absolutely not.